Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free, exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING, get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets. Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at a horse that might very well be the favorite in the 2022 Kentucky Derby. Let's take a closer peek at Epicenter. And Mike, at first glance, this horse just ticks all of the boxes. Fast race? Sure. 102 Beyer speed figure in the Louisiana Derby. Distance? Shouldn't be a problem. He won at the Preakness distance of 1 mile and 3/16 in the Louisiana Derby. Because he won at Churchill Downs? Certainly he has. He won his maiden there in his second lifetime start. Connections? Steve Asmussen, Joel Rosario. Doesn't get much better than that. Tactical speed? He's one from on the lead. He's one from off. Other than the potential for a short price, is there a reason to think that there's anything here that makes this horse vulnerable?
Not necessarily. I mean, obviously the waters are going to get a little deeper. The first Saturday in May is going to be facing all of the good 3-year-old colts in the country, not just, a handful or a couple of them. So we'll see how that works out for him. And I think it's at least worth pointing out, Dan, right after his Louisiana Derby, he was, certainly at that point anyway, a pretty clear-cut favorite for the Kentucky Derby. A couple of weeks after that Louisiana Derby, they ran, 3 more prep races around the country, and things got a lot more bunched up at the top. It feels like the winners of all 3 of those prep races sort of threw their hats into the ring as far as major contenders for the Kentucky Derby goes. That doesn't take anything away from what Epicenter has done. He has been there basically right from the start. There are very few bad races on his card.
He has run 6 times in his career, and in every race he has taken a forward step on the Beyer speed figure scale, of course, culminating with the 102 in the Louisiana Derby. Let's talk a little bit about that final prep race at the fairgrounds. It was a race in which he came to hand very nicely. He got a good trip rating off the speeds. He got to the outside, and when produced, he kicked on home. Really, there was nothing visually wrong with the performance. It came back fast. What did you make of the horses he beat? I know that Zozos is very lightly raced. He has a lot of potential, but he's certainly not among the top 10 right now in the division.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it feels like Epicenter in that race anyway, maybe he wasn't beating, the strongest group of horses there. Of course, in his race prior to that, the Risen Star, he handled a couple of really nice horses, even with, having everything his own way in that race. He didn't beat the strongest field in the world in his final prep, but he did it, I think, the way that you would want to see him do it, Dan. He did it without the lead, which, of course, hadn't been the case in his prior couple of wins. He just sat. He looked very comfortable sitting off of other horses in there. When he came for those horses at the top of the stretch, he ran right by them. That race was really never in doubt. And now you're talking about a horse who, as you've mentioned already, Dan, wins at 9 and 9.5 furlongs already since he, was beaten in his career debut with a 64 Beyer. He's improved with every single start of his career, 80, 87, 88, 98, 102. He just keeps getting better. He showed tactical speed. The distance feels like it's not going to be a problem for him. There's just a lot to like about this horse.
And barring a disastrous post position or a disastrous break from the gate, his tactical speed allows him to work out trips, and that is so important in a race like the Kentucky Derby when you know there's going to be a scrum for position in a 20-horse field barreling into the first turn.
Yeah, that's very true, and he showed especially in his most recent start, that he can sit a little bit and he can do it very comfortably. Because again, all of his other races, he was basically involved from start to finish. And of course, since he did lose his career debut sprinting, his only loss since then also happens to be the only other time when he was really involved on the lead there. They did not let him get away to an easy early lead there. He had to do some racing off the turn, and he could not hold on at the end. So I guess that's one thing I guess he still has to prove that he can do. But if he's going to, just sit comfortably in the early stages of the Kentucky Derby, he's probably going to be a handful through the stretch.
It's hard to find any holes for this horse on paper. He's likely going to take his share of money. But as you mentioned earlier on in this video, there are several other horses in this race that have sort of become the now horse. And maybe Epicenter, isn't going to be 10-1. He's not going to be maybe 6-1. But do you think he could be a playable price on Derby Day? Because again, there's a lot to like.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how much you like him and what you think a playable price is for Epicenter. There's a chance he's favored. If he's not favored, he's probably, a very close second or third choice, Dan. I mean, there's really no way to look at him and feel like he's not taking money in the Kentucky Derby. And I'll tell you what, he deserves to take money in that race.
Epicenter, 6 starts, 4 wins, $1 million in earnings, heading to the Derby as one of the favorites, if not the outright favorite, and he deserves to be a very strong contender.